Hi, Irene here. Thanks for stopping by. Today I am creating a single page layout using this new paper pack called Traditions of Christmas. It is in the mini catalog and it is a really pretty, obviously Christmas colored paper, but it brings in this secret C, which I really think is cool. The patterned or plaid paper here brings in all the colors. So this is cherry cobbler, we have old olive, and then secret sea, and then this one brings everything in. This paper pack comes either with or without, you could get it either way, the sticker sheet. And the sticker sheet is great if you're doing a December daily. You have all your dates. You have some really great titles. You have all these little small sentiments and some great borders. Great way to build up your clusters here with these poinsettias. This is considered a specialty paper pack, and the reason is because the reverse side is all done up with gold embossing. I think you can see the reflection there. Every single side, or every single hero side, I guess it's called, it has gold embossing. So they've got the cherry cobbler. We have some really pretty pink, but look at that gold embossing. So pretty. We bring in the pool party here, which I think is kind of cool to bring in the blues into Christmas. This one is again same colors. This one, I think if you get the die set, I think one of the dice cuts out these really pretty little bouquets there. You have gorgeous poinsettias. I mean, that is just super reflective. And then your poinsettias in different colors. I mean, look at that. That's just absolutely gorgeous. So here again, this one brings in a lot more of the pool party. Here we have some white backgrounds. Super pretty. Today I am going to be just doing a single page layout. And these pictures are of a Christmas some time ago. They are not the best quality pictures. Lighting wasn't great, but I just love this little story. So my son had gotten cash at Christmas time, and just the little series of him, putting his cash together, and then he works so incredibly hard trying to put it into his back pocket, holding up his shirt with his chin. Just works super hard. And here you could see somebody really close up, somebody's hands, maybe my daughter's, I don't know, helping him tuck it into his back pocket. And here you can even see he's got some tucked there into his front pocket. So super cute. And then here in the very end, you can see it just kind of poking out the back. So what I'm thinking is, with the pictures, let me pull my papers out real quick. The way I want to do it, this is a 4x6, and then these are all 3x4s. And I'm thinking, since it's just a single page layout, I want to run these kind of along the bottom. Definitely didn't have enough photos to do a 2-page spread without it looking, empty, right? I mean, just 5 photos just wasn't enough, especially with 4 smaller ones. And I just kind of wanted to put them in kind of in progression order. So him trying to tuck it all in his pockets, there him getting a little tiny bit of help, and then, successfully having it in there. So what I'm thinking, papers I want to bring in from this pack, I really like these. I love this plaid because it brings everything in. So I'm thinking I want to take this really pretty secret C one and maybe make just one great big border of photos down here. I might cut them down a bit just to allow for a little bit of gap in between, but I think I might just mat them all up on one piece of white cardstock. You'll see the white in between and then a little bit of a border around it. And I think I'd like to have that on the bottom. Scooch that out for a moment. And then I'd like to bring in these 3 papers. Not sure if I want to put the plaid in the center, so I'm thinking a 4-inch strip of each. So it would be something along that line. That might look okay. And then have, let me see if I can scooch that out real quick. This one then just sit right on top for about just a little bit over 4, maybe 4.5 to 5 inches at the most, just to have a border above and below. or if I would like to swap them a bit, maybe I will bring in the green. Let me lay this here this way, and maybe the red, and maybe then this one. I'm just going to bring in a piece of paper just kind of so I can envision it a little better. I just need to block it off so I can see it. Let me just swap these ones around one more time and see if I like the plaid in the center or if I prefer the red. And bring in my blue. I'm just gonna keep my pictures off for now. But that would be my basic paper layout. Maybe run a little border here just to give it some definition. But I think I like the plaid in the center. I think I'm gonna cut these down. I'm gonna build it on a piece of cardstock so I can save as much as I can. Let me grab a piece of white paper. And let me just see if I think that would look good as a mat on the bottom. So take it just a quick peek. I'm gonna put this photo up here. I'll definitely be matting that. And then let's see, just lay those out really quick and see if I think I like that. I like the white, so I'll probably mat that one up in white, and probably then again, maybe in the Secret Sea, maybe just the regular two-tone cardstock. Maybe I'll use a piece of this. Let me cut this all down real quick and let's just start laying it out. Like I mentioned, I'm going to be building this layout on a piece of just simple white cardstock. That way I can cut down my pieces and save the extras for another layout. Just use some glue dots to hold that down. I did ink up all the edges in the coordinating colors. So Secret Sea with Secret Sea, you know, Old Olive with Old Olive, and then the plaid I just did in the Cherry Cobbler. I did cut these just slightly larger. I'm gonna just slide those down underneath. Oops. I want to put the plaid in the center, and then let's bring in the other Cherry Cobbler. So get those just lined up, and then we can just start dry fitting our pieces, our photos, and see where we want to have those. So basically going to look like that. I'm liking that. I do want to bring in, I think, a piece. I'm going to add gold into this, like the specialty paper side has all that really pretty gold. I want to bring just in a little bit of gold into the layout as well. So I'm going to cut a piece of gold trim real quick and just lay that down here. I went ahead and cut myself a 1/4 inch strip of gold. So I'm going to place that there just as, you know, just to give it some division. So let's bring our photos back in. I did cut a white mat as well as I'm going to use the dark side of Secret Sea for my larger photo. So that will go right there. And I did cut down, I'm just going to lay those there. I did cut down my photos by about 1/8 of an inch so I can bring in this piece of white and use that as one large mat. So let's see, back to trying to put those back in order. And there we go. So it'll have just a little bit all around, and might pop that up just a little bit. I'd like to have about at least 1/4 inch, if not about 1/2 inch at the bottom. So let's see how much I can get. It looks like it's maybe 1/4 inch. So let's lay that out. Should have probably cut that just slightly larger, but that's okay. So I'll have that there, and then we have our little trim piece so that we can see a little bit of that blue still as well. So I am going to adhere all this down real quick. That way things aren't moving. Otherwise they're jumping all over the place. And then we can just start the embellishing process. I do have the Stampin' Die set that came with it. Or excuse me, stamp set. This is just a stamp set. You could see I have used it a bit already. When you start using your you know, your reds and your pinks. They will stain your stamps, but they still work just fine. So I think I'm going to use the Christmas out of here for part of my title, and then I've just cut out or stamped out a bunch of these little elements, and we'll just see how those work into the layout. I've got everything adhered down, and like I was mentioning before, these are not the best quality photos, and my point really is, regardless how good or bad your photos are, they're really great memories, and you really need to get them into your photo album. I mean, I've got shadowing here. I don't know if it's just really bad lighting. I don't know if it was a old camera, you know, a regular camera opposed to a phone. These are from somewhere around 2005-ish. I have to go back and check real quick before I do my journaling. But, you know, regardless, just get them in. They're still your memories, so you really want to get them into a photo album just so, you know, you can enjoy them. So let me get this last one adhered down real quick. I'm going to place that one here on the right hand side, just using my little dots here to line it up so I know it's straight. I like that. And then I created a title, like I had mentioned, from the Keeping Traditions stamp set. I did the Christmas in, this is the Cherry Cobbler. And then this is the light side is Secrecy. I could use the dark. I don't know which one I'm going to use yet. But what I did was I took the, I think this is the Textured Notes die. And I used, let me see, which one did I go and use? I used this, actually this larger one, and you can see that it's shorter. So I just did some partial die cutting. So I would lay the die down so far. You can see it didn't line up perfectly. Ran it through just about halfway, then turned it around, hung the other end off, and then ran the other side through because I really wanted that really pretty pattern border on here. Not sure if I'm going to do the dark or the light, so we're just going to place that down for right now. But my title is going to be Christmas Haul, and I have used those, what are they called? The Party Alphabet dies, so those really huge alphabets. And I cut them out in a couple of colors. I wasn't exactly sure which color I wanted to use, so I've done them in the dark side of Secrecy. I could even do the light side. I could just flip them over, all but the yellow. And let me find my U. Here it is. I also did cut them out in gold because I think I might want them in gold. Because I was looking at this thinking, it's just, I don't know. It's just kind of dark. I think there's a little bit just too much of the Secrecy, and it's just not bright enough. But then I thought I could bring in some white and make a shadow. But let me pull in the gold that I cut out, and let's take a look at that. I've got the U, the H. Problem is it will be sitting on top of that gold strip, so I don't know. We'll have to see how that works. I did punch out a bunch in white. Here's my H-A-U. I am really a good speller. I don't know why sometimes it's like, I don't know. Let me find here's my L in gold. So we could do that. And like I said, I kind of like that, but I'm not too sure about the gold on gold. I could do a really thin strip of this blue again and have that resting on that. Maybe we will try that. That will just give it a little bit more definition between the two. But what I think I'm really going to do for sure is I have a bunch in white because I initially was pretty sure I wanted to bulk these up. So I'm going to just glue a bunch of them together, at least, you know, a total of 3. And this gives me a much thicker, more dimensional letter. So let me cut down another thin strip of this light blue, or the Secrecy pattern paper, and let's slide that in a little bit and see if that looks good. So I cut myself down, I think it's 3/8 of an inch, And I was thinking about just laying it on top, but I don't know. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like it because it's too big. Let's see if we can tuck it under the gold. I don't know if I can slide that underneath. Lift those up for a second. I could try to lift up the gold. Let's lift up the gold. That off. All right, I'm just going to set that aside for a moment. Let's see, maybe just laying it now that it's in gold just on there, and I don't need that, you know, that visual break between the two. So let's line these up and see if this looks good. See how I like that. Bring that down just a touch. And that doesn't look bad. This gives me room to put a little bit of a cluster up here and then a little one down here. I think that I will be okay with that. Let me build these up real quick. I will just be using some, I have to find it, I had it put away. Sorry about that. Just going to be using some glue. This is the Bearly Art glue. Let's bring in a couple. I think I'm going to do 2 layers of white. So I'll have a total of 3 layers on the color, or under, you know, with the gold. A total of 3. So show you real quick how I do this. Super simple. We're just going to take, you know, just some Bearly Art glue. It gives us a little bit of wiggle room, a little time to attach it to the next one. And then you can line them up. And they line up super easy, obviously. I mean, these are super straightforward alphabets, so there's not a whole lot of intricacy, so makes it easy. And then we're going to take the gold and lay that one right on top. And then you can see just how much dimension that gives you. So, and then it's just so much thicker. It's going to give it a lot more weight, a lot more presence, opposed to just the flat one layer of paper. Let me glue these all together, so you don't need to watch me do that, and we will get on with our embellishing. I have all but the L adhered down. I just kind of wanted to see if you could see the dimension that's created by stacking the die cuts. So it gives it a lot of weight. I'm trying to keep my glue more in the center because when I lay it down, I want to press it so it holds, and I don't want it really to squish out too much. So be careful. With gold foil, I just did it. I poked my nail into it and it leaves a mark. So just something to be aware of. Just going to take a little brick and give that a press down real quick. And if I have anything that squishes out the side, I just use my reverse tweezers to clean it up, and then I just clean up my reverse tweezers. It's really easy just to kind of run along the edge of the die cut and then, you know, get that glue picked up. So title done, or the bottom part of my title done. I still haven't completed this. I know I want to bring in some of that cherry cobbler, and let's just ink this up to give it a little dimension real quick. I do have a bunch of things, like I said, that I had stamped out. I have some die cuts from one of the card kits that I want to use to build my embellishment cluster. So I'm going to ink that up in a little cherry cobbler, and then I'm just going to bring in the Secret C, and I'm definitely going to keep it on the dark side of the paper. Let's ink that up real quick. Get that one done. I just love that subtle dimension it gives. Hides the white core, especially when you don't want to see it. So that is all done. Okay, so let's adhere the two pieces of the title together. I do like that. We're just going to center that in the center of that embossing, or that partial die cutting of that die. Get that centered. I don't know if you can see it, but it's really quite pretty. So we're going to have that there. So Christmas Haul is my title. I have a box full of embellishments. I had gone to visit family, brought this all ready to film and put together, and never got to it. So I have a bunch of pieces that I want to work with. I do know I would like to add the date. Even if it's not the year yet, I'll put that on my journaling. But we celebrate Christmas in my family on the 24th of December, so I want to do that. This little stamp die is just one out of my stash, but it worked really great with the stamp in the this one right here, in the keeping traditions, and then you could add the dates. So that worked out really cute, so I definitely want to add that. Let's see, I'm not going to adhere that part down yet till I get everything laid out. Definitely want to have the date. I have a bunch of these little die cuts. This is from, I think it's called the Tags and More. Let me see, what do I have? Christmas Tags and More. It's a 6x6 paper, and then it has all these punch outs, all these little die cuts. So I punched a bunch of those out. I thought that would look cute. Maybe I got a couple of Christmas trees. This one's got the gold foiling. I really like that. Let's see if we can scooch that underneath. Let me lift that up first, because we could always tuck that under the photo a bit, and that will give our cluster some height. So let's put that something like that, and bring back in my little date, and got a little gift. We can just start building that. Let's see what else we got. An ornament here. Maybe underneath. I don't want to have that hole. Have a bunch of cutout circles. As you could see, I cut out all these words. I wasn't sure what I was going to do for my title. I didn't know what I was going to do for my embellishment. So I have so much stuff. I punched, or I stamped it out in the cherry cobbler and the secret sea, and I've got leaves, and originally I thought I was going to do silver. So I have little animals. So I have a lot going on here. Oh, this is another cute tree. That's got some gold on it too. So that might work. Let me just dig through my pile. This is a cute little cluster, but I think that's just going to be too big. It'll just end up falling off the edge of my paper there. No, that's going to take up too much room. Do I like that one instead? I think I like this one. I like the size of that one, the height that one's giving me. Yeah, let's see what else we got here. Like I said, I have a ton. I have a ton. Oh, I have a little gingerbread man. That might be cute. Let's see if we can get him out. Tuck him in maybe up here. I'm liking that. I like this little swag. I thought that was kind of cute, because I want something up here, but I can see I really have very, very little room here. But I could do something like that. Yeah, a little. I don't think I need another Christmas tree. That's a little redundant. Oh, that's a cute swag too. Do I like that? I think I like the bigger one better. I like the larger cluster. Got a cute cocoa cup, teddy bear. Okay, I think I'm coming to the end here finally. Got some greenery sprigs. Oh, that's another cute one too. I like that one. I think I like that one the best right now, at least with this layout. So let me clear this out, and let's give this one a look. Get this out of the way. Just let's see if we could straighten this out just a little bit. So if we get that there, that I'm liking. I think that's a pretty nice cluster. I have an idea for my journaling because I obviously don't have any in here yet, and I didn't leave myself a space. And what I was thinking is I die cut out this little shape, this little square. It is from the, let's see what do I have here. Oops, upside down. Stylish Shapes dies. And this is the one that has all the, circles, but it has all that really, really pretty stitching. You have some banners, some squares, some circles. So I like that a lot. And what I was thinking, if I leave the top of this open and just with that extra banner on top, that swag, I could replace it underneath. That would hide most of it, and then have some string or ribbon or something come up so you know to pull, and that way it can come up out of my page protector since it's so close to that up there. I might pop this up a little bit. I think that would look nice, give that a little dimension. So let me adhere a couple of these things down, and then let's decide on that journaling tag. So let me get that done real quick. I have most everything adhered down. What I want to show you is doing some using some foam squares. So I've popped up the date, and I left the top without the dimensional. So I'm going to tuck my title down there. I did pop up the title, so I built my cluster along here. I'm going to add some foam dots here as well. But what I wanted to show you is I left this like little gutter so that when I place down my title here, what I can do is I have not done my journaling yet, but I just punched a little slot hole there and used a little bit of this red and gold ribbon and some of the gold twine, and this will allow me to slide this in behind that. You won't see the journaling square. You will see the ribbon, and that way you'll know to pull it up. So I just want to finish building this up. Just add a few more foam squares here at the bottom just to give this some support. I have a bunch that I cut up earlier. I can just squeeze those in. But this one, it took me a little while to build up that cluster. At first I thought it was enough, and then I felt I needed to add a little bit more. So I played with it for a while, and I was really happy with the end result. I'm just going to peel off my backers real fast. And you really only have to peel off some. You don't have to peel them all off. The majority, the larger ones will hold things in place. So I'm going to probably do about every other, because otherwise it takes forever to peel them off. I like to do the big ones because they're going to give me the most support, and I definitely want to do the ones around that little gully or channel that I created. And let's just do a couple here on the bottom just to secure it all in. And then like this, I will add a little glue just to glue that down. Let's see if we can get that lined up straight. You can see how those now have support now that I've built them up from underneath. We just bring in a touch of glue, and we can glue this down. My glue, a little sticky. Alrighty, and that will hold that in place. Just give that a little press. You can place a block on it to hold it in place. But I think that's going to be pretty darn good there. So let's dry fit this little tag one more time, and you're going to see how it just slides right in, and then you'll see that. You could trim your ribbons or your string if you don't like them that long. I probably will end up handwriting my journaling since I already created the tag. It'd be a lot easier. But that's going to be how we have our hidden journaling and all our cute little elements. So let me just bring it in real quick so you can get a close look at it. I'm not going to add any bling, I don't think, because I have all this gold and we have some gold here. I think that in itself is enough. We got gold in the ribbon, but I'm really happy. Even though the photos aren't the best quality, I'm really happy the way that the layout came out. I'll list everything that I used down in the description box below. And I will also leave you another video in case you need a bit more scrapbooking inspiration. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.